Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Siriano. I'm Jamie's mother. We're so happy to be standing here alongside our two sons tonight. Thank you for taking the time to make your way to Fort Lauderdale to share this weekend with our families.
And good evening. I'm Steve Wade, Garon's father. Jamie and Garon were legally married on Wednesday in Washington, the District of Columbia. However, our two boys felt as though this would only be complete once the two of us pronounced them husbands to each other, surrounded by all of you. As you can see, they are not wearing their rings just yet. I'd like to share a little bit about the man that will become my newest son, Jamie. So what shall I say about Jamie? Well, I asked that question to my soulmate, Mila Wade, my wife, and the first thing she mentioned was he was tall and handsome. But then she went on to say that he was very kind and extremely polite. And I think probably we owe a lot of that to his mother. And so Mila and I would like to congratulate you on that. Neither one of us actually, Mila nor I, get much opportunity to see Garon and Jamie because we're overseas much of the time. However, I've had the privilege of commuting with Jamie to work on several occasions. And yesterday we had a long walk back from the rehearsal. I think it's fair to say that it's very easy to add, as many of you know, it's very easy to add to what Mila said. Attributes like strikes me as extremely honest, very smart, and he has a calmness about him that is a very good counterpoint to the frenetic energy that Dominique, as you know him, Garon, exhibits. And I think it's very safe to say that both Mila and I are very happy to be welcoming Jamie to the family and to his family to the family. Thank you.
Let me tell you a little bit about the man that will become my new son, Garon. I first met Garon at the airport when a smiling face emerged from behind Jamie as they came through the security gate for a visit in Schenectady, New York, my hometown. Garon was very engaging, genuinely interested in learning about our family, and extremely pleasant. He seemed especially amused at how our family were all still living in the same location while he and his family travel the world. Garon's a great guy, as you all know. He's highly intelligent, sincere, gracious, caring, and a great listener. Always interested in the other person. We'll be busy talking, and I always find it fascinating how he'll always turn it right around to me, not him. It must be from those news reporting days. Garon is quite the social director. He's always organizing parties, dinners, anything to get everyone together. Just mention that you'd like to do something, and voila, he's got it all planned. We've gone to some exceptional restaurants. He'll try to find something a little different, someplace we've never been before. We've spent some wonderful times together. He seems to enjoy himself wherever he goes, whether it's chatting on the front porch or sitting by the fireplace on a cold wintry night, or doing handstands on the surfboard on the lake. He always seems to keep himself amused, along with the rest of us. Garon is hardworking, talented, and ambitious, but above all, he loves my son. I know Jamie has found in Garon a partner, a friend, and a husband. When children find true love, parents find true joy. I believe they've made a wonderful choice. Garon, welcome to the family.
As you can see, there are two candles on both sides of her.
These candles commemorate the rich lives of two people who have died, but are often in our thoughts. Jamie's maternal grandfather, Jack Duchesne, and Garon's mother, Nikki Wade. Please share with us a moment of silence.
Our two sons have each picked a reading that resonates with them. First, please welcome Samantha Latella, Jamie's cousin.
Look around each other. You might know the person you are sitting or standing next to. You might not. Maybe you just met someone here before the ceremony started. That is now the beginning of a lifelong friendship, or something more in which you will look back and say, remember, we met here. Each of you is connected. Each of you know Jamie and Garon. Each of you can think back on the memories of times you have spent with them. Each of you can imagine a future with them in it. While you are here to celebrate their marriage, to partake in support in one of their most important moments of life, you will also recognize that their love for one another is an extension of the love and compassion you have for them. Taken together, you care for the person next to you as you do for them. His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, tells us that the purpose of all major religious traditions is not to construct big temples on the outside, but to create temples of goodness and compassion inside our hearts. Compassion is not religious business. It is human business. And each of us, as we travel our path through the world, are faced with decisions each moment to recognize that even if a face is not familiar, then acting compassionately to the stranger is acting that way to those we know and love. To say that you identify with those strangers because they are human beings and nothing human can be alien to you is a powerful statement and a powerful thing to do.
Please welcome Ebony Wade, Garon's sister.
Hi, everyone. When Garon asked me to talk about family today, I thought I would just read a poem or quote a great philosopher. But Garon said no poems and no philosophy. So instead, I thought I would start with a quote from someone I know that he will truly appreciate, Angelina Jolie. Angelina once said about her adopted children that she felt that she was meant to find her family around the world. Garon and I used to joke that our parents were just like Brad and Angelina, a bit less rich and famous, but on the same mission to find their family around the world. They found Garon and I in Sri Lanka and the Philippines, respectively, and had Yale in South Africa. Years later, we were lucky to find Vila and Alex in Finland, and now Garon has found Jamie and his wonderful family from upstate New York. And as a couple, we have found all of you. They're friends that have become like family and who have come from places as varied as Uzbekistan, South Louisiana, Seattle, North Carolina, and of course, the many friends that come from their home in Washington, D.C. And we are all here today in their second home of Fort Lauderdale to show our love and support for Garon and Jamie as they embark on the next phase of their life together, marriage. And we are eagerly waiting to be there for them as they begin the exciting process of finding their own family through the adoption process. So Garon and Jamie, we're here today as your extended family to show our love and support for your future together.
Thank you. And now we'd like to turn to our sons for the next moments of this evening. Jamie and Garon have prepared words for each other. They'd like to give you a window into why they've chosen to spend their lives together.
I have to start with a story because it's telling how Garon and I interact and where we are now. Garon told me very early on in our relationship that I had to come up with 10 reasons why I liked him. Or all bets were off. Apparently I was not being communicative enough about my feelings, which is not uncommon for me at all. If you know Garon, you may also know his orientation to make very quick decisions and pronouncements, and I at the complete other end of the spectrum, as I like to say, thoughtfully consider all options before making a decision. This process, as Garon will admit, can take time. I never came up with a full list for him back then, and I suppose he had moved on to something else, and from my perspective I was relieved, because 10 things seemed like an impossible task for me at that time, since everything would have had to been distilled and vetted through my sometimes lengthy mental process. Did I mention I only had a week to do this? That was 4 years ago, so I've had a little time to think about that. When I sat down to write this and I found myself editing down to 10, I knew more than ever that this could not be a better man for me. So, buddy, here they are. Commitment. You made us work, as you make everything in our lives work. When I give you 5 reasons something won't happen, you'll give me 6 why it will. Ambition. You know what you want, you go after it, and you get it against everything and everyone telling you you won't have it. Decisiveness. Your ability to make decisions about really big matters in really short periods of time to this day astounds me. You are Mr. Social. Nothing makes your day brighter than a gathering of people. You have filled our lives together with so many wonderful people. You are gentle beyond words. You forget the worst of your life, and you remember the best. You allow me to be who I am. You want to be a father, and I know that our son will always be your first priority. Love. I hear you tell me this and show me this every day. If you've ever been truly unconditionally loved, you know there's never a bad day in this life. And 10, love, dating, and all the quixotic romance aside, you're my best friend. Garon, promise these things to you. I will always love you, look out for you. I will always have your back. I will support you in your dreams, work tirelessly to make them happen for you. I will work to protect you and the life that we have built. I will not waver or wilt under the harshest light that can cast, and will stand here as your anchor as long as I am alive. A very wise friend of mine once told me that in this world, our true families are our families of choice. Garon, you know that I have chosen you and your family to be united with my family, and that I have chosen this life, this path, and I have thoughtfully considered what was once a dream for me and is now a dream come true. And that I know that every day ahead will contain the elements of who you are, the elements that make them connected.
Oh.
Jerry, you know that when people ask me about you, the most honest thing I can say is that you are my best person. It is truly my greatest privilege to stand here today across from you in front of all these amazing people. My God. It is impossible, and I know that it's not true, but ever since I met you that day at the gym in Columbia Heights, not in the locker room, I promise it was out there. But seriously, I just felt like somehow you're made for me. And I know it's not true, but it feels amazing. So many nights when we're back in DC, you and I fall asleep, and when we fall asleep at the same time, sometimes we fall asleep holding hands. And I lie there for a second, and I think, how is it possible that I, so early in my life, could find my best friend? I listen very carefully when our friends here describe you. They say that you are patient, kind, a great cook, and I've heard more that, so many people say that you are quietly confident, which in my mind is the most confident. And it makes me smile because I know that all those things are absolutely true. But there is one thing that they don't know that I do by virtue of just being able to sit next to you every day, and that is that you are going to make the most amazing father to our son. And you have no idea how in love with you that makes me. I will always remember the first night that we slept alongside each other. After 2 weeks of knowing you, I met you at 11:30 at night in a small town southwest of London. And do you remember, it was me and you and like two Americans in this pasture next to this estate and a full moon. And I remember thinking, who the hell is this, and what am I doing on the other side of the earth with this person? we've come a long way since then. At the first concert, watching Tina Turner kick ass in D.C., asking a pimp in Amsterdam where the gay bars were, only for him to say, "Come on, you guys aren't gay. Come on, I got some girls for you." Island Prime in San Diego, playing frisbee in Laguna Beach, the waves. Showing me your old high school in Rotterdam, New York, and introducing me to your amazing family. And getting kicked out of restaurants in Atlanta for not being dressed nicely enough. All these amazing experiences we've had with our friends here in Fort Lauderdale, and of course, back home in the district. Thank you for your time and your patience and your careful consideration, your travel, your effort that has made you and I and this a viable option. And finally, thanks for saying yes when I asked you to marry me here in Fort Lauderdale over a year ago. I don't know if I ever thought I would even get married in my life, especially after found out I was gay. And it was a really amazing moment for me. I think for you too, to be standing here with your mom and my dad and Mila and Sherman in front of our friends. And if there's any doubt for people in this world that two people of the same sex should be able to get married, I mean, I cannot tell you how amazing this feels right now. You know, I would go back and forth on this, but I don't believe in God. And I don't believe in the afterlife. I think this is it. But it gives me the greatest sense of comfort to know that after today, that after right now, that I will die having spent my life with you, and whether I die soon or many decades from now, that I will have spent my life being yours and being a team alongside you. That's my truth. Thank you. I'm so ready to marry you. I'm so nervous downstairs. I'm so ready to marry you. I love you so much. I really do.
In bringing Jamie and Garon together today, Friday, June 8, 2012, we also bring together the Soriano and Wade families.
We will support them in good times and harder times that lay ahead throughout their life together. Garon, will you take my son, James Soriano, as your husband to watch over, take care of in the best of times and in harder times, to respect, love, and build a life together?
And Jamie, will you take my son, Garon Wade, as your husband to watch over, take care of in the best of times and in harder times, to respect, love, and build a life together?
I will.
We now pronounce you married.